You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, and co-host Keelan Harvey on Alternative Talk AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage experts Tina Mitchell and Keelan Harvey.
Welcome back to the Money Hour at 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, October 12th show. I am your host, Tina Mitchell.
And I'm your co-host, Keelan Harvey.
And you're local mortgage experts. It is a great day to talk about money. That's what the show is all about. How to make money, how to save money so you can have a better quality of life for you and your family. If you're hearing our show at a different time or day, you're listening to a rebroadcast. So if you want to connect with the guest, again, call the show at 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. In studio right now, we have John Torkelson of Protection Home Inspection, and we're going to have a little home inspection Q&A. John, thank you so much for joining us for the first time.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
We're really excited to have a conversation about John and home inspection because it's an important part of the process if you're looking at purchasing a home or possibly selling a home. A little bit about John. John has been in the construction industry for over 25 years. He first started building apartments and homes, and in 1997, John entered the Carpenters Union apprenticeship program at Renton Technical College. He has worked on many large projects around the Puget Sound, including the downtown Federal Courthouse, the new West Side approach to the new 520 bridge, and his favorite project, 2 50 million gallon underground water tanks for the city of Seattle and the Cal Anderson Park on top of them. John also was elected 3-term as vice president of Carpenters Local 30 and financial security of the local as a rank and file carpenter. John became a home inspector after herniated 2 discs in his neck working on the new 520 floating bridge.
So, John, tell us a little bit more about how the heck did you become a home inspection, or get into the home inspection industry, I should say?
Well, I got into the home inspection business. Unfortunately, I was hurt on the 520 bridge. I herniated 2 discs in my neck, like Tina said, and I was really at a loss. I'd done construction my entire life. I didn't know what I was going to do. And my wife, being a real estate agent, she kept bothering me and saying, hey, why don't you do this home inspection? I could never find, or she could never find anybody that had construction background to be a home inspector. And I had built hundreds of homes. And at the time, it seemed like a fit. So I thought, okay, well, I'm recovering from this herniated disc surgery. I will go out and get licensed and see how it is. And since I started, I hung my shingle outside. I've been busy ever since.
And I love it how the wife makes a suggestion that actually changes a life. John loves what he does. He's very, very skilled and very successful in the inspection industry. So a shout out for your wife for pushing you in that direction.
Thank you.
I love to give shout out for the wives. John, what are the requirements to become a home inspector in Washington State?
Washington State actually has some of the most stringent rules for becoming a home inspector. You need to take 120 hours of in-class education and then pass a test there, and then 40 hours of actual hands-on training, doing 10 inspections in the field with another licensed home inspector, and then passing a state exam of 100 questions that are timed, and pretty difficult questions, but they're multiple choice, and that's it.
And I love that they can't just go out there and inspect a home. They have to have all of those hours.
Right.
And so it makes it a little challenging as well as you're building your team because you have to actually have them with all their hours. You can't just, so there's that side of it as well.
Right.
But it's nice to know you have to have that experience.
I heard when it first started, people were really frustrated. The home inspectors were really frustrated because the state of Washington dropped all these new laws and rules and regulations, and everybody kind of freaked out. But then they realized, now it's black and white. It's not this wide open, anything goes, all these different types of home inspections. They're all pretty standardized. They follow the Washington State standards of practice for home inspections. So
that.
It turned out to be a good thing.
Yeah.
John, what are your thoughts on people getting homes inspected? Do you suggest that's something they should do?
Definitely. If you're going to be buying a new home, especially we find lots of things gone wrong in these new homes. Homes now are built usually with unskilled labor, and contracts aren't usually awarded based on skill. They're awarded on the lowest bid, and so we get these homes that are built not with the greatest construction techniques. And even though it's a brand new home, we find stuff all the time wrong with them. Just the other day, I was inspecting a home and found a 6-inch by 6-inch hole in the roof. It looked like somebody had taken a sledgehammer. I don't know if it was a disgruntled employee, smashed the hole through the roof, and then it had rained for about 2 months, and so they had rain pouring into the attic, and now we have a mold issue.
You know, and I hear that over and over on new construction, and that's probably one of the areas that is a missed opportunity for protection for buyers in buying new home construction. It's like, well, it's brand new, it gets inspected, so it should be okay. You have an occupancy requirement, and you know all of that. So, John, what about a seller that's thinking of selling a home right now? What do you think as far as getting a home inspection prior to even putting the home on the market?
Right, that's something new we've seen here in the last couple of years. People getting their homes inspected prior to putting them on the market. You know, the great thing about that is you can live in your home and you have no idea the things that are going on in the attic or in the crawl space. Most people don't spend much time up there or underneath their house, and so they go to list the house. There's a competition for a bid. The bid is awarded, and that bid is accepted on contingent of a home inspection. And then we have a home inspection and we find out rats have infested the crawl space and the seller had no idea. So now there's this giant struggle trying to come to an agreement on how are we going to remedy this. Or, you know, some mold in the attic. Or, you know, the big thing is people don't want surprises. And so if you're able to show them this inspection report, say, hey, here's the things that we know. The water heater's got some rust on it. And then the buyers aren't shocked when they go and have their home inspected. They go, okay, yeah, we knew about that. Let's continue to move forward.
Yeah, and such great advice, John, because a lot of times sellers are looking at the exact opposite, and unexperienced real estate agents as well are giving bad and wrong information because they're afraid to know, because then they have to disclose it on the contract. Well, the reality is buyers are getting home inspections. They are going to find it. So would you rather do that at the beginning or in the middle of contract? Now renegotiations are going to happen. You're stuck. It's going to cost you a lot more money. Would you agree?
Right. When we're scrambling to get these repairs taken care of and trying to get bids, and it's really hard to get a roofer to come out and give you a bid within a couple of days, or a crawl space technician.
Yeah.
Or what a great excuse to give you a lower offer on the house, right?
Exactly.
Oh, there's this. And I mean, when you're negotiating such big numbers, it's very easy to hide I wouldn't say hide, but considering you could put a pretty big chunk of change out there and they might accept it, just considering they have something to go off of. So.
Right. We'll have a home that's approaching the end of the life on the roof. When we go to sell the house, that's disclosed in the inspection report when they give that out to the bidders, and the bidders go, yeah, hey, we know that this roof is going to need to be replaced in 3 or 5 years. They know that going into the bidding process, where instead of getting a home inspection, they get that and then they realize, oh, there's only 3 years left on this roof. We want a $15,000 credit.
Yeah. Huge chunk of change. What other things are you seeing, John, as far as common costly repairs that you tend to uncover for buyers?
One of the big things, it's a big safety hazard too, is we get people that think they understand electricity and go into those electrical service panels, and they get Brother Bob or Uncle Tom to come in there and add a hot tub or add an electric car charging station, and they really don't understand what they're doing. They think there's only 3 wires. It's not very hard to get it right, but definitely most of the time they don't get it right. And then we not only have costly repairs of having to have an electrician come in and repair it, but then we also have a safety issue.
Yeah, and I like the way you did that question, Keelan, with uncovered things for the buyer, because I always tell buyers, if you want to know what the great things the house has to offer, talk to the listing agent, the agent that represents the seller. If you want to know everything about the home, the good and the bad, that's what your inspector is there for, is to give you an overall of where the home's at now and also where the home is heading in the future and what that's going to look like for you. John, what you're doing is such a critical part of the process, going out and spending $500,000, $1 million on a property. So, John, can you tell us a little bit about the tools that home inspectors use? And I don't know that the tools that you use necessarily are the standard that every home inspector uses, but I know that you've got a lot of investment in what you do to get the information out of the home.
Right. So there definitely homes can be done without a large commitment or financial commitment with tools. Some of your more established home inspectors do spend a lot of money on buying some specialty tools. Probably my favorite tool that I've gotten to buy is drones have come out. And drones are absolutely incredible. They're anywhere from $100 to thousands of dollars. And being in the home inspection business, I was able to convince my wife to allow me to spend,
there comes the wife again,
about $4,000 on a drone. And it is absolutely incredible. It is fun to fly. It is great to do roof inspections with. I don't have to get onto the roofs and risk falling or risk damage to a roof. And
that's a good way to approach your wife about it beforehand, yes.
Actually, she was the one that just gave me the go-ahead. You know, she didn't want me falling off a roof and being hurt that way. Another great tool that I get to play with is a thermal imaging camera. It is so much fun to actually use it for home inspections because you can literally see inside of walls. You can see missing insulation. You can see leaking pipes. You can see heat being generated by overloaded circuits in a service panel. But it's also great to go out in the woods with because it just lights it up like I'm in the military, you know, looking at those cameras.
Gary, our engineer over here, has got a big smile on his face as well. He's like, oh, yeah, I want one of those.
You know, that's so cool, John, considering, you know, it's like the mortgage industry. People can take tests and things like that and understand like a basic, but it takes years of experience. And that experience you're talking about right now and bringing that to the purchase of somebody's home can save them a fortune. Looking through walls and things. You're
just jealous you don't have a career that you get to use some of those tools, aren't you?
Can we tie in a drone with the mortgage industry? I don't know. Like, interest rates are in the clouds, babe. We're gonna go up here. But anyway, so I think that's fantastic that you use that because, I mean, you're saving people a ton of money and looking out for their future that could be hidden in this home. So what could you say with all your experience, John, about hiring home inspectors? What should you be asking them? What should you be looking for? What are your thoughts about that?
I think the biggest thing for hiring a home inspector would be checking online reviews. You know, it's such a critical thing. You know, people now, it's kind of a new thing that we've seen in the last 4 or 5 years where people are actually taking the time to write a review, you know, and most people don't write a review. You either write a review if you're extremely happy or extremely disappointed. And so it's a good place, you know, Google Reviews is a great spot. Redfin OpenBook has lots of reviews there, and so does Angie's List. So I really encourage people to check those reviews. And another thing is just talk to the home inspector, you know. Is this somebody that's going to spend time with you going through the report, or is this somebody that's just trying to get you to agree to the home inspection and move on? Because it's really critical after the inspection that home inspector spends the time with you to go through the report afterwards.
Yeah, great advice. John, why do you love doing what you do?
Well, at the time when I became a home inspector, I didn't realize it, but after being a home inspector, it is really exciting to be with people that are going to make these gigantic purchases, and they are scared, and I'm the one that gets to walk them through the process. I get to walk them through the home. I get to explain these are the items that are in your home, and these are things to look out for, and it's a really great opportunity to help people through a really traumatic time, or it can be a traumatic time.
Yeah.
John, I'm going to ask you the flip side of that question. What do you not like about being a home inspector?
The worst part about being a home inspector is going into crawl spaces. I absolutely despise going into crawl spaces. You never know what you're going to find. Dead rats, dead raccoons, dead cats, mold, mildew, sewage. It's all over the board.
Or even worse, alive raccoons.
Yeah, live rats.
Oh my God, that's a visual. Wow, John, well, I know what I want to have you come next time because I had one more question, but we've got to wrap it up and get to our commercial break. I want to have you on another show just to talk all about the troublesome things that come up in a home inspection. So stay tuned to our listeners. John, thank you so much. Or stay tuned, listeners, for that show.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, John, thank you for coming in. Really appreciate it. And if you'd like to connect with John, please call the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. Coming up next on The Money Hour, tap into your power of excitement to reach new heights of success. Lei Wang of JourneyWithLei.com right here at 1150 AM KKNW after this short break.